Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon, not even in the mood for a stupid long name, Perna. Now, last night, Tom Hanks got the coronavirus, the NBA suspended its season, the president canceled travel from Europe, and I have never cared so little about which NFL players are getting released days before free agency begins. Hell, I didn't even have the heart to do an XFL Power Rankings video. Today, sporting events are being canceled with the exception of dog sledding. Smart, because dogs cannot get the coronavirus, and even coronavirus thinks dog sledders are crazy. You want me to go to Alaska to infect a bitch? I only do bats and humans, and there ain't no way I'm going to those cold-ass woods to find a dude on a sled. And I'm not sure why coronavirus is a sassy woman in my mind. Today, I want to talk about what the hell is going on because shit got real fast in the world of sports and in real life. Real life, not just sports. And the only way this can get worse is if we all find out the TB12 method is the only cure for coronavirus. Thanks for the assist on that one. Ipatheros. That's good. Sports. Alright, right now, I'm pretty thankful for the sense of humor many of you have on Twitter. I tweeted that I wanted to get drunk, but didn't want to weaken my immune system. And I actually got some good advice from @JustinWard10 who said, do it anyways. If you drink Corona, the virus doesn't attack you because it thinks you're one of their own. And that is some pretty basic zombie survival shit right there. I'll drink whiskey and hope it can't tell the difference. So the NCAA has now canceled, not just suspended or postponed, its spring and winter championships. NASCAR will race, but without the fans. In beer pong and flip cup will be postponed until graduation. Fucking Disneyland closed, so let's just hope Chevy Chase finds out before he plans his next family vacation. A big reason, though, that the NBA started this and suspended the season was that they found out Rudy Gobert tested positive for the coronavirus, making this the first time I have mentioned an athlete testing positive for something other than weed or PEDs, or in a best-case scenario, a positive mental attitude. On Wednesday, after discussing the Utah Jazz's initial handling of COVID-19 with the players and the media availability, Rudy Gobert did this. After addressing how the Jazz were approaching coronavirus, Rudy Gobert did this. Rudy Gobert and Emmanuel Mudiay were the first two guys in the NBA to test positive for coronavirus, and a shitstorm broke out last night when the NBA postponed the season. But then my writing partner, Will Keys, texted me a brilliant joke, and I told him to tweet it. And Will was like, no, save it for the show. And then I was like, no, tweet that shit and get something good from this virus. Attention. We all want attention. So Will tweeted, Ernie Johnson, NBA on TNT Voice, perhaps the greatest defensive performance of all time from the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, holding the entire league to 0 points the rest of the season. And that, I thought, was a solid joke, which I think was then ripped off by David Gardner from Bleacher Report. Unless Gardner just had the same idea at the same time as Will. Who knows? Gardner's tweet popped up 2 minutes after Will's, and it wasn't as cleverly worded, but was more popular than Will's. Anyway, I digress. Things are crazy right now. They're so crazy that the Washington Redskins are leading the charge and doing the right thing and putting people ahead of profits. Washington informed all of its coaches and scouts to suspend travel until further notice. Before we give them too much credit, though, this was an easy decision considering nobody actually wants to play for the Washington Redskin Potatoes. The Giants and then numerous other teams followed suit, except for the Patriots, who just pulled out hazmat suits and told their employees to get the fuck back to work. Luckily, the Patriots have ample hazmat suits stored at Bill Belichick's house because the only way he can ejaculate is if he role plays an end of time scenario while coitusing. All the college basketball tournaments have been canceled. The SEC, the Big Ten, all the ones I don't know. Major League Soccer is suspending its season until further notice. MLB suspending spring training. NHL is suspending its play. The NFL hasn't budged on its new league year beginning March 18th, but the draft could be up in the air right now. NFL teams are discussing shutting down their facilities for training. The good news is The Office is still on Netflix, so when we can't leave our house, we can at least watch that for entertainment. Like this, a lot of people are gonna be affected. This is crazy, it's gonna get crazier. One person right now being most affected is Rudy Gobert. And he's become the poster boy for what not to do right now, which is act like an idiot. This morning, Adrian Wojnarowski announced that Jazz star Donavan Mitchell also tested positive for the coronavirus, but he went on to say that Rudy Gobert had been careless in the locker room, touching other players and their belongings, which again is just a guy being a dude acting like an idiot. As dumb as the mic touching was, and as ignorant as Rudy Gobert remained about the virus, remember, we all did too. We were all ignorant. Let's not crucify the guy. He apologized today. And the last thing we need to do right now is shit on other people who are clearly remorseful for their mistakes. Donavan Mitchell was unknowingly likely spreading the virus as well by hugging Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam. Basketball's not my area, but neither is reading. That's my guess, Siakam. And some of you watching have probably spread this shit without knowing it. I could have it right now, and I work from home. So my unsafe work environment is, 100% on me. I've been telling me to clean the toilet for months now, but I never thought I could get sick from my own filth. Now I know. None of us took this thing seriously until our precious sports were affected. I didn't get nervous until I listened to Michael, here's another name I can't pronounce, Osterholm on Joe Rogan. I had to go to Joe Rogan to get clear information from an infectious disease expert because we have a news information problem right now, okay? We have news organizations focused on an agenda at our expense, and this is the shittiest example of that to date. The biggest thing I took away, though, from the Joe Rogan interview is that if any of us leave the house, there's a good chance we can get coronavirus. If we stay at home but have a partner, a family member, a child, or a roommate who leaves the house, we might still get it when they bring it back to us. It's highly infectious and, from Osterholm, easily transmitted just by breathing. That doesn't mean you shouldn't wash your hands like you just accidentally pissed all over your knuckles or got that disgusting splashback from the urinals. But it's that as much as we may want to yell at Rudy, he probably would have infected his teammates just by being around them, even without touching them. The CDC website considers close contact with another person being within 6 feet, which is a much shorter distance than every NBA player is tall. If you touch the same basketball as Rudy, you're at risk. If you sat next to Rudy on a plane, you are at risk. If you are on a plane which recycles air with Rudy, you are at risk. Fuck it, if you watch the movie Rudy, you are at risk. Again, Rudy will be remembered because he did this dumb thing. And then just happened to get the coronavirus first. You can go 2 to 14 days without having coronavirus symptoms. So the NBA outbreak that might happen may have started a while ago. And you are contagious before and after you have symptoms because the virus can still be in you for days after you get sick, like a bad burrito from the gas station that just won't digest. We're probably going to hear about a lot of NBA players with the virus soon, as the Jazz team plane was also used to fly the Grizzlies and the Magic in recent days. The good news is, healthy people are primarily going to be fine. The bad news is, there are a lot of unhealthy people out there, and there are a lot of people in this country over the age of 70, which puts them at a greater risk. Part of me has to believe this is God's way of trying to get Tom Brady to retire. He's too damn old to keep playing pro football. Beyond that, I learned that outside of the United States not being properly equipped to handle this right now, we are at a greater risk because of the high rate of obesity in this country. You don't need to panic, but be aware that more people may be at a greater risk than initially reported. Now, the XFL has been reluctant to postpone or cancel its season, but they have. This is where I give you an update when the XFL actually makes a damn decision. The XFL has suspended the season, canceled the season. We'll play games this weekend. And in a shocking turn of events, Vince McMahon appears to do the right thing. Yes, shocking. Currently, XFL will not be playing its regular season games, but the players will be paid their base salary and benefits for the 2020 regular season. So, not bad, Vince. My question is, can the XFL survive without ticket sales? It's a new league, and that's a major revenue source. If the XFL folds because of coronavirus more quickly than the Alliance of American Football, I will have to change my stance on coronavirus being invented to stop Tom Brady and conclude it is to stop alternative football leagues at all costs. The issue is that we're underprepared for this pandemic. It is the reason that after the Jazz and Thunder game, players were quarantined and waiting for over 3 hours to be tested.
The Utah Jazz had not been tested yet, some 3 hours after the game was officially canceled here in the arena. So right now I'm told that the Jazz are sitting in their locker room, lined up in a circle. They all have masks over their face, and they're going to be tested by Oklahoma health officials for the virus. And the test basically involves opening their mouth, sticking their tongue out, having their inside of their cheek swabbed almost to the point where you will gag.
These are NBA players having to wait 3 hours to be tested. Well, that might just be because Oklahoma is still using medical practices considered cutting edge when the Louisiana Purchase happened. This is going to get worse before it gets better, and we as a country are behind the 8 ball. 8 ball's also not a cure for the coronavirus. We are the New England Patriots, down 28-3 at halftime, but with a much scarier opponent than Matt Ryan. An opponent we can't see, like Marlon Wayans in The Sixth Man, but one we will ultimately beat. We saw Mark Cuban react live to the NBA getting suspended, which was entertaining, and is the last basketball thing that will happen for a while. One of the issues people are worrying about is how minimum wage employees who won't be able to work the rest of the season are going to provide for themselves and their families. Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said in a press conference today that,
in talking to when some of the things were coming up that we might not play games, and this was yesterday, I reached out to the folks at the arena and our folks at the Mavs to find out, what it would cost to financially support people who aren't going to be able to come to work. They get paid by the hour, and this was their source of income. And so we'll do some things there. We may ask them to go do some volunteer work in exchange, but, we've already started the process of having a program in place, and I don't have any details to give, but it's certainly something that's important to me.
And that's sort of a brilliant idea, paying people to do volunteer work that might help others in this situation. Now, I canceled going to the Denver Nuggets game on Monday. I knew shit was bad when my tickets were refunded without question. I've had some sponsors postpone working with the show because their business is going to take a big hit from this. I have people close to me that I am worried about if they get this, just like many of you. We're all going to be affected by this shit in one way or another, and the degree is going to vary drastically from one person or family to another. Personally, I'm going to keep joking about it. I don't know any other way to deal with bad shit than to try and laugh through it. I'll keep making videos here. I don't know what the fuck about if all sports come to a halt, but maybe we'll just go live a couple days a week so we can all tell each other it's gonna be okay. I mean, if the hospitals in Australia, a country that just went through one of the worst fire outbreaks we've ever seen, can bring Tom Hanks his Wilson volleyball while he's alone in quarantine, I think there's hope. Again, if Tom Hanks is infected, it means nobody is safe. Anyone who went to bed a boy and woke up in a man's body should now consider themselves at a much higher risk to get coronavirus. If Denzel Washington is the next actor to get it, I'll have to classify Philadelphia as a documentary. Wait, that was based on a true story? Philadelphia was based on a true story? Philadelphia was about a disease we didn't fully understand for way too long. Dear God, we never truly learn anything, do we? My guess is that this virus started 2 years ago when that Eagles fan licked horse poop after Philly won the Super Bowl. So stay safe, everyone. Be smart. Take necessary precaution. Be kind to others. Help if you can. And above all, FYTB. Also, don't overreact. Don't underreact. Just middle level, medium react. Thanks for watching my bullshit.